News from abroad now. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the international community to support Uganda's appeal for $8 billion towards humanitarian assistance for refugees. Guterres spent yesterday touring refugee settlements in northern Uganda, most of which are home to settling refugees from South Sudan. We do apologize for the poor sound quality on this following insert.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stoops through the door to witness firsthand life inside the refugee settlement areas in Mvepi, northern Uganda.
You were very generous and you have received them.
Yes. It is here that we meet Anne Chuol and her children. Together, they fled Uganda after the civil conflict broke out in South Sudan. The journey here took several days, on trucks, on foot, through the forest, and sometimes swimming and wading through water. A dangerous but necessary escape.
My husband was killed on the way from Yei to Uganda.
She is among 100,000 refugees who now call Mvepi home. One among 900,000 South Sudanese refugees seeking shelter in Uganda following a 3-year civil conflict in their country. As their numbers swell, help is dwindling.
It's time for all the leaders of South Sudan to understand that they need to stop this war. And I'm very grateful for the efforts made by the heads of state of the region, the regional organization, the IGAD, efforts made by the African Union, by the United Nations itself, in order to create the conditions for peace to be reestablished. Peace in South Sudan is a must for these people to be able to have a future.
Humanitarian aid agencies have warned that Uganda is staring at a humanitarian catastrophe if help does not come fast to thousands of refugees in need of assistance.
I call on the international community to support the clarion call by the United Nations Secretary General and President Yoweri Museveni to contribute generously so that we are able to raise the necessary resources to support the refugees and also to assist the host communities.
A joint UN appeal for $1.4 billion made early this year is only 18% funded, yet Uganda says it needs at least $2 billion every year to cater for the needs of the refugees.
When we have now 4 million people displaced in South Sudan, 2 million inside and almost 2 million outside, half of them in Uganda, it is absolutely essential that this solidarity, this generosity shown by the people of Uganda and the government of Uganda is matched by the same solidarity by the international community.
Every day, more than 2,000 South Sudanese refugees arrive in Uganda. The Ugandan government's policy on refugees is different from the rest of the countries in the world. It offers them land where they can put up shelter, and they are allowed to take their children to school in the same schools as local communities, receive health care, and even get jobs. But the Ugandan government says now its services are stretched to the limit, and it needs at least $8 billion over the next 4 years to be able to continue supporting the refugees. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Uganda.